HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents Under Construction, Navigating the Detours on the Road to Recovery by Dug McGuirk. Read by Shedlock. Preface. I really want to acknowledge you for the journey you're on and for taking an interest in this book. We all have busy lives and face many challenges, but the fact that you're here, letting me share your journey, speaks incredible volumes about how committed you are to creating a better life. This book, this time, is for you and your loved ones because whatever you do, positive or negative, you are still going to be in those relationships, and whatever you do will impact them too. By listening to this book and applying the principles, you will be better equipped to be the best you can be for yourself and, therefore, the best you can be for them. Your parents, spouse, sweetheart, or children. You're going to restore the part of that great connection that you once had. If you are in recovery, that's a big part of your and their life transformation. Recovery. Do you know what that word means? You can probably guess just by parsing the word recover, to go back to the individual, the return of something that has been lost. Now, the way you were is what got you here in the first place. But we're going to celebrate what is working for you, not beat you up over all the things that aren't. You're great at doing that on your own. We're going to refocus on what's great in your life, then add what's missing, reawaken the parts of you that have become dormant. Isn't it true that, over time, parts of you have lost their luster? How often do you say things like, "When I was a kid, I used to have so much fun doing this or that. Now, it's not very much fun anymore." This book will help you change all of that, so that when you're done, you will have had a few aha moments, where you'll say things like, "Aha, I get it now." Two of the mantras you will hear throughout this book, so you might as well learn them now, are, using drugs or alcohol was not a problem. It was the solution, and nothing has any meaning except the meaning you give it. You're going to discover why they are so important, and how to step over those road bumps. Welcome to your revolution. Let's start with a story about a turkey. This is a story about a turkey and a little girl named Sally. It's Christmas time, and Sally and her mom are in the kitchen preparing the holiday dinner. Sally is 5 years old now and ready to learn to cook, especially the Christmas turkey. Sally is so excited. This means she's growing up because, wow, making the Christmas turkey is a really big deal. Sally helps Mom get all the ingredients out and the old recipe card that has been passed down for generations. The first thing Mom does is set the turkey in the pan and cut the legs off. The first thing Sally does is ask questions, as kids do. "Mom, why'd you just do that?" she asks. Mom thinks about it and tells Sally, "I don't know. It's the way Grandma taught me. Let's ask her." So they call up Grandma and Sally asks, Grandma, I'm making the turkey and Mommy cut the legs off like you do, but she doesn't know why." And Grandma says, "I don't know. That's the way my mom taught me. I'll ask her." Now, Great-Grandma is rather old, but still kicking and adding tons of love and value to the family. Grandma calls her and asks, "Mama, why do we cut the legs off the Christmas turkey?" The old matriarch thought about it for a moment and began laughing so hard that she's gasping for breath. Great-Grandma is just cracking up laughing until Grandma asks her, "What's so funny?" "Oh, my goodness," she said. "Back when I learned how to cook a turkey, the ovens were so small that you couldn't fit a whole one in the oven, so I cut the legs off so it would fit." Now, before we really get going, I'm asking you to question where you learned how to do some things. Whose turkey are you cooking these days? That goes for your loved ones, too. Whose turkey are they cooking? Where did they learn to do that? When we label someone an addict, we're going back to an old tradition. At the time, they thought it was helpful, so the practice stuck. Is it always or ever appropriate? We'll check the ecology in the chapters ahead and consistently ask what something means. If I say, "Hi, I'm Carrie and I'm an addict," does it mean that I'm broken? That something is wrong with me? Does it mean that I'm the dirt of society? When an addict uses it, they are acknowledging that they have a problem and that they feel badly about it. Do they use it as an excuse? Sometimes they do. But if it means they're managing their problem daily and celebrating the fact that they're overcoming it, that's a different label altogether. The ecology works out. It's just a different question with a very different meaning. Does the ID, the label you give something, serve a bigger picture ecologically? Does it serve your loved ones? Does it serve who you truly are and support your transformation? You have to answer the question. Now, if I say, "Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm an addict," your response should be, "No, that's just a label. Who else are you?" Start an awakening. The things I share with you in this book mean nothing when I tell them to you. But if you tell yourself, they mean everything. Be careful how you label yourself. Be true. Learn and grow from these ideas, but make them your own. Tell yourself so you really believe them. And remember that nothing has any meaning except the meaning you give it. Introduction. The Bad Drive. Like millions of people on planet Earth, I've had my share of turbulent times. And like most of them, I've survived, black eyes and bruised egos notwithstanding. But I've learned a thing or two along the way that changed my life in very specific ways that are unique to my own personal journey. Life-changing things that I'm eager to share with you. Those life experiences brought me to the place where I am today and fashioned the person who I am today. Many years ago, I decided that I would spend the rest of my life discovering, growing, and sharing things I've learned to help others facing their own challenging times. With seemingly insurmountable odds now in my rearview mirror, I've been able to put those experiences in proper perspective and focus on the future. With hindsight as an indispensable teacher, I set a course for a new path as a therapist, mentor, speaker, and workshop facilitator, helping others pick up the pieces of their lives and glue them back together in beautiful, complicated mosaics. The title of this book is Under Construction, Navigating the Road to Recovery, because that's how life is. It's never truly finished with us until we reach the end of the road. Metaphorically, the term under construction represents the way life seems to present itself as we work our way through it. Imagine for a moment that you are driving your car on a clear day. You have a full tank of gas, your passengers are comfortable, the radio is playing your favorite songs, and the ride feels great. Then, out of nowhere, dark clouds blanket the sky overhead. Within seconds, the pitter-patter of falling rain interrupts the rhythm of the music. Your phone rings. It's your mother calling with her usual drama and trauma, and some that aren't even hers. Before long, the drops of rain turn into a torrential downpour, and your wipers can't keep up. Just a few minutes ago, what was a clear open road is now full of traffic with large trucks and vans in every lane, pushing along at different speeds and blocking your view to the way ahead. As heavy thunderclouds obscure a sunny sky, headlights blink on one by one, and you're blinded by the oncoming traffic. As the wheels of a semi spray oily gray mud under your windshield and the radio turns to static, one of your friends in the back seat asks a question that beckons a thoughtful answer. Moving inch by inch, you're doing your best to concentrate on the road and respond to the question with compassion and sincerity, when you notice a sign reading "Detour ahead." Before you can process your limited options, you hit a pothole and your thoughts shift to flat tires and dented rims as the fuel light flashes red. You idle precariously in the parking lot that moments ago was a wide-open highway, and you imagine the car sputtering and stalling and the cost of new tires and alignment. While all this is going on, you look for signs beyond the vague "detour ahead" to get you back on route, because now your GPS is no longer reliable. Frustrated, you realize that your journey is going to get even more complicated because you have absolutely no directions for this unexpected path, and your passengers from out of town have no clue how to help. Now that you are dealing with multiple obstacles and challenges at the same time, I ask you, how effective at addressing any or all of these obstacles can you possibly be? Think back on a time when you or someone you care about experienced this level of upheaval. How much compassion did you have for yourself or your loved one during that time? Can you look back now at that experience with empathy and love and forgive yourself, knowing that you did the best you could? Have you come out from under the ordeal with new wisdom, access to grace and elegance, and new confidence to support and overcome future challenges? This driving metaphor describes the emotional, psychological, and physical upheavals you and I go through as we navigate our way along the road of life. No doubt, at some point in your life, you have had similar experiences, or you know someone who has. In hindsight, as I was chin-deep in the sludge, I was not a very effective leader or visionary. But today, I am capable of handling those experiences in a very different manner. When you are mired in upheavals, it can be almost impossible to differentiate the picture from the frame. But with some disassociated distance, you can gain perspective from and appreciation for those experiences, including the difficulties we put other people through too. Think back on a time when you or a friend seemed to have a string of bad luck that just never seemed to end. How did you cope? How did you navigate your way through? At those times, real compassion is your most valuable resource, and you will find that a small shift in focus and change of questions becomes power. You can't expect yourself or others to function normally, no less at peak state, with all that craziness going on. But simply acknowledging the challenges stacking up in your path can open up a world of possibilities. Open roads, blue skies, potholes, and detours. A world you will learn to navigate with confidence. During my eventful journey down some of these twisting roads, I have had the great fortune of discovering and accessing an array of useful tools that have helped me navigate many challenges. Some of them I learned by studying personal development through total immersion in the field. I became a master practitioner and trainer of neuro-linguistics programming, NLP, and Neo-Erickson hypnosis. I spent 4 years working with a world leader in self-development, Tony Robbins, with whom I traveled the country as a speaker and trainer, managing between 2 and 4 sessions a day. At the time of this writing, I spent the last 6 years at one of the country's leading addiction treatment centers, guiding people through the difficult process of recovery. Having overcome my own addiction at a very young age, the field of recovery is very close to my heart. I have coached, taught, and spoken at conferences on addiction and recovery across the country. It is this experience and confidence that is both the impetus and the backbone of this book. It's important to note, however, that the philosophies I share in Under Construction are not exclusive to substance abuse at all. In fact, you will find that these perspectives support recovery from any thought or behavior pattern that keeps you from creating the life of your dreams. One of the guiding principles I will explain to you relative to substance abuse is that drugs and alcohol are not the problem. As a matter of fact, they have always been the solution. They are an effective vehicle we can choose to use, but they are not sustainable, and if not addressed, they can become a problem. Or, as you will also learn, they can become an opportunity. Under Construction will also help you understand why I believe that not only can we successfully arrive at a desired destination, but equally important, we can truly enjoy the journey. Now here's what I want you to do. As you listen to this book, give yourself a gift. Put aside all the things you know or think you know, and allow yourself the joy of curiosity. If you let them, the concepts I share with you in this book can influence and enhance your own perspectives. Plus, listening to this book should be easy and fun. You've already showed initiative by picking it up, and you've already invested time by listening this far. We are kindred spirits. Let's try out a new car or truck or motorcycle together, whatever you would like to drive down this road. Let's get a fresh tank of premium gas, change the oil, put on some new tires, and get our windows super clean. After all, that's how you started out on this journey. By the end of this book, it's my hope that you will realize that everything you need to be successful is already within you. It really doesn't matter what you drive, it's how you drive, and I'm going to prove that you have the power and capability to own the road, to live the life you really want. The obstacles and detours are no easier in one car than another. It all comes down to how you navigate your way through and around them. You've heard the line before. Life is a journey. When you accept that you are special and unique and that you have something valuable to offer, you're going to have a very different trip. You're going to go places. Chapter 1. Emotion is Fuel. The 3 Pillars of Transformation. Let's start our road trip at the beginning with the 3 pillars of transformation: state, strategy, and story. It's important that we begin by filling up with the right fuel to make the journey smooth and enjoyable. State. What is state, and why is it so important? It's your state of mind, your state of being, your emotional state, or simply how you feel, your emotional fuel. Imagine that you have a new car and you want to go somewhere. If you could go anywhere you want, where would you like to go? Most of us immediately choose a destination that we associate with pleasure: the beach, the mountains, a spa, or grandma's house. For now, let's say you want to go to the bank. Why would you want to go there? Because you want to fuel up. You want to get money to buy things or have experiences that will make you feel good. Somewhere in your blueprint, it is written that you need things to feel full, complete, or happy. It's what drives you, what drives us all, to acquire things and experiences that we think will make us feel good. We have been taught that in order to drive with our tank full of positive emotions, we first need to satisfy that desire. Now, what if I told you that you've been fueling up the wrong way your entire life? What if you could find an infinite supply of clean, high-efficiency fuel to run on? Would you make the switch? Of course you would, and I'll tell you exactly how to make that happen. Let's look at it this way. Think of your favorite gas-powered car, your dream car. Imagine sitting in the driver's seat of this incredible car, gripping the steering wheel with both hands. You start it up and realize that the gas tank is almost empty. Do you drive the high-performance car of your dreams to the nearest gas station, Steve's thrift shop, bait and tackle, that also happens to sell 84 octane, and fill up? Would you risk putting bottom-of-the-barrel gasoline in the engine of your dream car? Of course not. If you did, what kind of performance would you expect to get? Suboptimal fuel will give you suboptimal performance. Crappy gas will yield crappy results. On top of that, you risk damaging the engine of your beloved car. So it is when you act out of fear, anger, resentment, or any other negative or non-resourceful, lesser-grade emotion. It is the equivalent of driving your super cool car on super poor gasoline. You wouldn't think of doing that to one of your most prized possessions, so why would you do it to your life? Why would you fill up on poor quality states or emotions? It simply doesn't make sense, but some of us do it every day. Let's go back to why we want money. When it comes down to it, you and I don't really want money per se. We want what money can do for us. We want what it will buy, and how we think it will make us feel. We don't want to buy things just to have things. We want what those things will do to our mood or state. We really just want to feel good. Inherently, you and I know that we make better decisions with better outcomes when we are in better states. For instance, here's a question I often ask clients and participants at my events. Have you ever made a bad decision? Without fail, hands go up in assent. But a decision is simply a decision, that's all. The outcome of your decision may not be what you would like or expect, yet, in the end, it's just a decision. What needs to be addressed is not our decision-making ability. It's the emotional state we are in when making decisions. Negative states, fuel, will generate negative outcomes. Now that we've made this distinction, it's time to become familiar with your emotional guidance system, your EGS, which is basically a GPS that shows you the way to go. In the previous example, the bank and money were not actually the destination. Changing to a positive state was the true destination. Once you know that, you can set your EGS accordingly and reach your destination with much more ease and confidence. Ultimately, feeling great is your desired state, your desired emotional fuel. What if you entered a destination into your EGS and it told you that there was an alternate, much shorter route to get there? And what if it told you that there was a gas station a few minutes away where you could fill your tank with all the clean, high-grade, feel-good you need? If your positive emotions tank is full, then you could enjoy your entire ride from the very beginning and even choose different destinations. If your tank is full of happiness and passion, then you don't need to go to the bank to get money and buy things like a high to feel amazing. Perhaps you'd spend time with friends or loved ones instead, or work on some of those projects you've been putting off because now that you feel great, they no longer seem like chores. Yet, millions of us drive around most of our lives trying to escape the things that are important to us, because we can't find a way to derive pleasure from them. As a result, once we realize that we haven't done the things we meant to do, we end up feeling guilty, unfulfilled, empty. Earlier on, I said that you've been fueling up the wrong way. Well, fueling up the right way is exactly what successful people are experts at doing. By successful, I mean people who are hitting the mark in all areas of life. They are happy and wealthy in their energy, relationships, work, and best of all, their spirit. They are familiar with the infinite, clean, high-grade fuel we've been talking about. And the first thing they do every day of their lives is fill up with it. They start out feeling great instead of taking long drives only to feel great at the end. Remember this chain of thought, because we're going to discuss it more down the road when we get to the tiers of experience that create sustainability. Where do successful people get their fuel? How do they generate their desired states? Every day they prime their pump and fill their tank by creating their own emotional fuel. They become so good at it that they enjoy the entire ride while focusing on new challenges and reaching new destinations at the same time. Successful people value a life well lived, and they value happiness to such a degree that they create their own joy. They know that money and things won't make them feel great, yet by feeling great, it becomes easier for them to do the necessary things to create money, to buy things and experiences. They're using the right fuel and heading for the right direction. What you and I need to do is learn how to prime our pumps with the proper fuel too, in order to get to our true destination. Have you ever siphoned gas out of one container into another? Do you know how a siphon works? I'll explain how this concept applies to our emotional fuel or state just ahead. In the meantime, let's shift our focus a little. What are drugs and alcohol? Why do people use them? They take drugs and drink alcohol because they are quick ways to change their state and to feel good. These substances become part of their strategy to change how they feel in relation to their EGS. Millions of people sit around every day waiting to win an emotional lottery. They don't get it. There is no such thing. Using drugs and alcohol is like swiping an emotional and spiritual credit card. The happiness is not real, and eventually, it has to be paid back. Have you ever put yourself into emotional debt that way? You use, go into debt, then you feel worse. You swipe again. When that card is maxed out, you take another one and keep swiping. You continue swiping until finally, you can't get another credit card. Now you've ended up in a different kind of state, a state of desperation. Why do people do that? Well, to get to the truth, we need to understand some of the science behind the behavior. First and foremost, we are wired to feel pain. Neurobiologically speaking, our pain sensors outnumber our pleasure sensors by a ratio of 10 to 1. That means our natural inclination is to not only notice pain and discomfort, but to do something about it. Action is the antidote, but it can create a vicious cycle. We take action to avoid pain, which ultimately creates more pain. Then to avoid the newly created pain, we engage in the very activity that created the pain in the first place, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. But take note, this circuitous pattern is not limited to drugs or alcohol. We engage in all sorts of behavior and create myriad states that provide a temporary illusion of feeling good, or at the very least, non-pain. In truth, it's really not as painful as the perceived alternative, and lasts a lot longer. If you don't have a conscious knowledge of where you want to go or what your destination is, then you are going to move along blindly, forgetting that all you really wanted is to feel good. What happens if you can't buy things? You don't feel good. You don't enjoy life. In light of what you now know about the effects of state, do you think that a positive state will make it easier for you or make you more effective at creating wealth and getting the things you want? Absolutely. Successful people know it. And now, you know it too. Strategy. To function properly, brains need neurotransmitters, fuels of well-being, like dopamine, GABA, and serotonin. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to refer to all neurotransmitters as fuel. When your brain creates fuel, you feel good. Drugs and alcohol stimulate the production of fuel by measurable percentages. But this phenomenon is not limited to drugs and alcohol. Food also stimulates the increase of neurotransmitters by up to 50%. The term comfort food may be spot on. Sex will increase dopamine by up to 150%. Alcohol and THC, marijuana, by up to 300%. Opiates by up to 750%. And crack cocaine and methamphetamines by up to 1,200%. The delivery of these stimulants to the brain is akin to a supercharger or turbocharger on a car. The problem, of course, is the impossible sustainability of these fuels. If you try to run this pattern or strategy over time, you will undoubtedly arrive fueled on desperation. You will arrive broken down and in much need of repair. You need a tune-up. This book is going to be your tool shed, the place that houses strategies you can implement to create a happy, fulfilled life. The car is yours, your metaphoric vehicle for your life. This is your shop, and you are the mechanic. I will provide the tools and tell you how to use them, but you have to do the work yourself. If you don't, you will chug and sputter along the road until the next time you break down, and the next and the next. However, if you play full out, I will tell you not only how to do the maintenance to keep you running, I will also tell you how to build and modify your supercar to run better than ever. You don't even have to want to do the work. It helps, of course, if you do, but you have to at least want something different in your life. Here's an example. Let's say for a moment that you want to improve your health, but you don't want to work out. If you work out even when you don't want to, you're going to get results. Your body doesn't care whether you want to work out or not. But if you push yourself and do the exercises and challenge yourself, your body is going to respond and inspire you by the results. You can't wait to be healthy, to start doing healthy things. Good health is a byproduct of healthy behavior, not the other way around. 5 years from now, will you be pushing your rusty old car down the road, or taking laps in the winner's circle? It's important to know that the emotional fuel you are using right now, you are generating right now. You and I do our emotions. We're like power plants. What does a power plant do? Right, it generates energy. And what is emotional fuel? You got it, energy. You and I are power plants that generate energy at will, even subconsciously. As a matter of fact, we literally generate energy all the time. A conscious awareness of the way we generate fuel and do our emotions will give us easier access to better states, which should allow us to create better strategies for making decisions and taking better actions, thereby enjoying better results. We need to learn new and better strategies for mastering our state. The map is not the territory. Reality and our perception of what's real are never exactly the same. That doesn't make us right or wrong, it's just a perception. You've probably played the game where someone passes through a room or something happens when a group of people are watching. They all saw the same thing, but when you interview them, you get different responses. No two are quite the same. Now, they all experienced the same thing, but they each had a different perception. Is any one of them right or wrong? No. It's just that they're different perceptions and each one is responding to their own experience, not to the reality itself. They're responding to the meaning they've given it. Now, a map is just a map, right? Well, not exactly. Everyone has a unique reality map or model of the world, and no one's map is more real or more accurate than anyone else's. It's just different. It's their map. I don't need to tell people when they're doing something that is going to screw them up. They tell me. I just ask questions and make simple statements. We'll talk about their situation with an example of driving off a cliff, and I'll tell them that if they keep going like this, they'll probably drive over the edge. Even if I say something like, "You're going off that cliff," they'll probably say, "Ha, screw you," and keep on going. But if I come from a different angle, sit down next to them and ask, "Where are we going?" they're more likely to talk to me. It's the same principle for effective communication with a child. The best way to talk to them is to meet them where they are, not where you are. That means stooping down so you can be eye to eye. Now, if I respond without judgment, just with understanding, I can help them determine their own outcome and work through the process. The problem that many people have, including
Sample complete. Ready to continue?